Right, so it's important to know that people watching this to have an open mind. Because
Correct.
I myself, I've spoke to a lot of police officers, even in this modern system, and I find some of them are actually genuine.
Absolutely.
But they're struggling in the system, and they're leaving.
They're leaving the system. The older boys are leaving the system. They had a system a few years back where everybody at 50 could retire early, and the reason they retired early because they had enough. And I was only talking to somebody yesterday, and I said all my colleagues of my age, they knew how many days they had left in service because they couldn't wait to get out, because they could see the changes drastically. And from an outsider, I've come along now as a neutral person, and I'm reporting neutrally, like a police officer should and always did. You took a neutral stance on the thing and you upheld the law. I am here to see what's going on, and the guys that here are totally upholding the law, but when we see the bailiffs coming in, they are certainly not upholding the law, and the police officers are going against police policy and government policy. There's a parliamentary policy, and I've got a copy of it here, SN 1034 I think it is, where the parliamentary policy is dictating to the police what they can and can't do at repossession situations, and all of the police forces have copied and pasted that into their policy for attending with bailiffs, or they used to be called bailiffs, they're now enforcement officers. And I see time and time again where they're not trained or not informed of this, the police officers, which is putting them in a very awkward position. I circulated a letter, a report about it 4 or 5 years ago, in fact before lockdown, and that went to a senior police crime commissioner who was circulating it to chief constables, but I don't know what happened about it. But basically I had witnessed and videoed police officers assisting bailiffs to smash a door in and grab people from inside a house and pull them out. Now those police officers were armed, and the offences they were committing were as long as your arm. It was offences of trespassing with a firearm, aggravated burglary, and this is police officers. One of the scenes I did, there was a lady sergeant there, and I went up to her afterwards, because I stayed neutral, and I went up to her afterwards and I said, I have a copy of the policy from Parliament about what you can and can't do at these, and she said, we don't know about that, and we're told to do it by the hierarchy, and we are threatened. And she burst into tears. This is a police sergeant on scene with 4 of her officers with her, and she was in tears. And this was in Bournemouth, and 2019. She burst into tears simply because she was between a rock and a hard place. She said, I know what I'm doing is wrong, but I'm made to do it, or I get told you can go. And she said, what can she do? What can she do? And she was clearly distressed about what she'd done. But she got on the radio to the head, to the control room, and she was told to do what she's told. I heard that on the control room. So I gave her a copy of this document, which she then took to her legal department. I don't know what happened. This is out of my area, so I didn't know what happened about that. But that's the sort of thing that's been going on. Now, I don't blame the police on the ground. They are doing what they're told to do, and they are not given the backup, the training that we had. It took 2 years to train me, 2 years and a lot of money to train me, and many courses. I don't see any of that happening now. I see basic courses, but not to deal with the specifics. And it's, as I say, it's more to deal with the policy that's being handed down from, some say government, some say WEF. That's your decision to, make your own mind up where these policies are coming from. But it does appear on the ground that these policies are being adhered to rather than policing. Being a police constable. In the old days, a police constable's rank was second only to the monarch, and they were in the towns to look after the people, and they firstly sided with the people. And in the documents that I have here, and the documents that the Devon and Cornwall Police, for instance, have a policy on attending situations with bailiffs. And in that policy it says the first person to be arrested if there's a breach of the peace must be the bailiff, and that is directly from the parliamentary paperwork.